Hey folks, welcome back to another tutorial on how to use the IceBreakers feature. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go over to IceBreakers first, and you can see that it's in the navigation bar. Let that load up here real quickly. And this is where you're going to find the navigation area for IceBreakers. Now, I do want to mention the navigation, so I'm going to keep this closed, is going to be now under default messaging. And under default messaging, you can also find welcome message, IceBreakers, default reply, and persistent menu. Before we had the persistent menu inside of the navigation area, but now everything is conveniently located under default messaging. Now, if you go to IceBreakers, there's a few things that I want to point out before I really get into how to use this. And I also want to point out and show you why this is important to set up for every single one of your pages that you manage inside of Facebook. Okay, but first let's talk about what are IceBreakers. Really, they are frequently asked questions. Now, what this does is it gives your prospects or suspects a chance or gives them options to choose from. So usually if you only give them one option to click, they may not click it, but in this case, this gives you more than one. In fact, it'll give you up to four buttons or frequently asked questions that business is getting, and it gives you an opportunity to get more leads that way. So someone might click one of these. So you have like menu, welcome, company info, we're getting started. You could do many other things. You could have sales, you could have one for support, you could have one for a free training that you have, you could have one that says join all of our social media, you could have one that says win prizes or join our contest or something like that. And then you could have one that has like a menu that's like a general menu. You could have like your welcome message that you normally have, and set forth, okay? And you'll set these up here. I'm going to show you in just a minute. Now you can notice on the viewer on the right hand side, this is what it's basically going to look like in mobile. I'm going to show you in desktop in just a minute here, but this is pretty much what this is going to look like inside of mobile, okay? Now I do want to also point out that you can also see right here inside of mobile, you're going to also see the welcome message, okay? Now you can find welcome message right here under welcome message, and that's where you can edit what it says right here, okay? So you can make some changes. I do want to mention that you may, if you're doing something with welcome message and you're using M links, usually if someone's never subscribed before to your service, they're typically going to see this welcome message, even though it's going to fire off a different bot that's associated with an M link, for instance, okay? So you're going to want to make sure that whatever you write here is general, okay? So right here it says, thank you for visiting, learn more about the bot masterclass course, or ask us any questions, click the get started button below. So I might want to change that to choose a button below, or choose the get started or other buttons below. So I even added a get started here as the bottom one because it's sort of the call to action. But you can think of more creative ways. Just be creative here when you're filling this part out under the welcome message, okay? Or you could just turn off the welcome message altogether and it won't even show, and it'll just give these options whenever anybody clicks on the fan page. However, I like to always have the welcome messages set up because you're going to need it, or it's going to help with people using M links to sort of get into that particular bot. So I just kind of keep it very general, okay? So that's kind of the tip there. You can do up to 50 characters. You can also add emojis, and you can pick which bot you want to fire off on each button that you can choose from between the four, okay? So if I wanted to add menu, I would just, let me just delete this first one. I'd go here where it says select conversation. I would find the conversation I want. You can also search it if you have a lot of bots, and I would click on that there, and now it's going to assign that particular bot to that one. The next one, you would do the same thing. Now, if I deleted one, see how it's going to say add icebreaker? I can click on it, hit add. It's going to say title 4. I'm going to want to change that to get started here, or something like that, okay? I could just say get started since it's in the call to action, and then I'm going to select a conversation. I'm just going to hit test, and I'm going to hit save. Okay, now when I hit save, it's going to say your changes have been successfully saved and will be pushed to Facebook shortly. Now I do want to mention that if you have this disabled, if you basically have it turned off, which this should probably say disabled in enabled. But anyways, this is disabled and this is enabled. So if I have it on disabled and I hit save, it's going to say that I've made changes, but it's not necessarily going to push them to Facebook. So I want to make sure I have it turned on, and I want to hit save, and that way it's going to be set up. Now, you'll also notice that if this is turned off and it's the first time you've done it, you'll also get an error message. So it's going to ask you to basically switch this on at that time. Okay. Now, let me show you on Facebook kind of what that looks like. So here you can see this is what it looks like. Now, if I close this out and I want to see what it looks like, I can go here where it says edit send message, and I could do this where it says test button. When I click on test button, there it is. And you're going to also see the welcome message text as well. Okay, you'll see the welcome text messages, and you'll see these. Now let me just click a button. I think it was a test, so I'm not really sure. Yeah, it was just a test. So you may, when you go to test this out, you might go to hit this button to hit test, and nothing is going to happen. You're going to want to make sure you click on here and you go to delete chat, and you delete the chat. So this way it deletes the chat completely, and I go to test buttons, give it a second to load up, and there it is. So now I could see all of these options here as well, and then I can click them. Now this is what your client is going to see. Okay, this is what the end result, or what the client or customer or suspect or whatever, lead, whatever the case may be. Now I want to show you, let me just go to new incognito window and just put this in here. Now I'm not going to be logged into Facebook, so it's going to ask me to log in because I'm incognito, but this is what the page is going to look like to that customer or client, and then they're going to see the send a message button. So you could add a graphic on here with an arrow that says, talk to us, or get your questions answered in Messenger, or, learn more in Messenger, or whatever the case may be, giving them a sort of a call to action when people search and happen to find that particular fan page. Okay, so that's how that works, just to show you. It's very simple. It's very similar to how the chatbot builder is. You can actually move these around. So if I want to put get started on top, I could do that. Or if I want to make sure I have menu above that, I can just make the change. If I want to delete something, I can just hit delete, hit save, and then it's going to make that change over to Facebook here. So I'll shut this down. We'll come in here and test the button. Hasn't popped up yet, so let me just hit refresh. Give Facebook a few minutes here to set up. Test button. And there it is. So you can see that it's now changed to the 3 icebreakers. So like I said, these are basically just Q&A, basically frequently asked questions. And if you have any questions or anything, you can hit us up in support. I do want to make sure that you got to have welcome message set up, and you want to make sure that the welcome message is toggled on when you're using it. You can also use this little short code right here to make sure that the first name is in there, and you want to select your chat bot that you want to have connected to it, and you want to hit save. That'll make sure that's saved, and that's going to be going over to Facebook, and that'll just make sure that that particular message always kind of lives right here when people first see the bot. So they see this little message right here. Okay, so, and you could also turn it off if you just don't want to use it. You can, but if you're using M-links and stuff like that at other places, I would suggest that you go ahead and keep it on. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. Really cool little feature. We've got this one pushed live for you. If you have any questions, hit us up in support anytime. Just hit new conversation, and you can also learn more where it says tutorials or help, and you go to help.segmate.io to find help as well. That's all I got for you for today, and we'll talk to you very soon. We got some more exciting things coming.